Well, I know you're excited about this just as much as I am. The third season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds is now available on Paramount Plus. Well, at least the first 2 episodes are. And boy, have we got some things to talk about here. I guess the question that's on everyone's mind is that the first 2 episodes that have dropped, are they any good? Well, I've only seen the first, and we're going to be reviewing the first episode titled Hegemony. And the answer, honestly, in my opinion, is, well, yes and no. It's got good moments and it's got bad moments. And what I mean by the bad moments is that when there's action, and I honestly don't think there's a lot of it, there is some, but not a lot. But when there is action, it's fast. And then when we finally move away from those scenes, we're back on board the Enterprise and the scenes seem to drag on. Again, even on the Enterprise, there are okay scenes, but for the most part, it just seems when we're not dealing with the Gorn themselves, we are in a very slow mode. First of all, I'm going to say that if you haven't seen the last episode from Season 2, go back and check it out. You may see some interesting things there. For example, this Gorn. That's what they want to call them. They're Gorn. They're not the Gorn from the original series. They've evolved them, if you want to call that evolution. But these creatures are a mix of 2 things as far as I'm concerned. They act like the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, and at the same time, when it comes to procreation, they implant eggs in their victims that remind you of maybe the xenomorphs from Aliens. So Captain Pike's girlfriend, Captain Patel, is in sickbay with those eggs, or the baby Gorns, getting ready to hatch. They got about a day before they'll hatch. Meanwhile, her ship, the Kyoga, has been wiped out by the Gorn. It was in orbit around a planet outside the Federation. Got that now? Outside the Federation, outside the protection of Starfleet. And they were colonizing this planet. And the Gorn came along, extended their territory past this planet, and started attacking the Kyoga, wiped it off the map, and then went after the people on the surface of the planet. And they beamed them off the planet, blocked transporters. Pike's on the Enterprise trying to figure out how to save all those people and try to help his girlfriend. And they are about to ram the lead ship there.
Shields at 30%.
For this to succeed, we still need to penetrate the Gorn's defensive systems.
We've been hitting them with everything we've got. It doesn't do much.
Energy shields work on harmonics. If we find the right frequency,
we can ram the ship.
Indeed. When our shields make contact with theirs, they will create a destructive interference pattern and momentarily interrupt both frequencies.
So they're going to launch a tracker attached to a dud torpedo at the Gorn ship. And then once that's done, they're going to get the hell out of there and go back to Starfleet for hopefully some support. But that's not what's going to happen. Starfleet's answer to the Gorn problem is to get a whole mess of starships together and put a wall and protect themselves from the Gorn.
They will push this hegemony line further and further into Federation space, and you know they will. And by the time we actually get around to doing something about it, it'll be way too late.
I don't know about all of you, but this sounds so familiar to me.
We've made too many compromises already, too many retreats. They invade our space, and we fall back. They assimilate entire worlds, and we fall back. Not again. The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
So the Enterprise heads back into Gorn space. But you may be asking yourself, how is it that the Enterprise is going back into an area of space completely saturated with Gorn ships, right? Well, did I forget to mention that Scotty is now on board the Enterprise? That's right. Montgomery Scott is aboard the Enterprise now, and he has developed a piece of technology that will allow the Enterprise to zip through Gorn space without being detected by them. Okay, that's well and good, but how do you solve the problem of the Gorn? How do you deal with them with one starship? Well, believe it or not, they have a solution to the problem.
You and Uhura, you said stellar flares can dictate a Gorn's hunting and resting cycles.
right.
We even know precisely what kind of radiation signature would tell the Gorn to go to sleep.
Sir, that's just a theory.
This just sounds so familiar.
Mr. Data, what the hell happened?
I successfully planted a command into the Borg collective consciousness.
It misdirected them to believe it was time to regenerate. In effect, I put them all to sleep.
So the Enterprise is going to become like an artificial star and send out this radiation signal that'll trick the Gorn into going home to hibernate. Again, it just feels like they're ripping off from other Star Trek episodes to make this particular episode. Now, as you can see here, like I said before, it feels like a ripoff of Aliens when it comes to the Gorn hatchlings coming out of a human being's body. Yes, of course, they're going to find a cure for this, but it is just, to me, it just sounds so much like lazy writing. Now, this is the one scene right here that totally amazes me. In all the years of watching Star Trek, there's only been one other episode that I can recall that made any reference to God or Jesus. And that episode was the battle with Apollo, who mourns for Adonis.
What else does mankind demand of its gods?
Mankind has no need for gods. We find the one quite adequate.
Okay. Okay, Dad. You win. Our Father, you art in heaven.
Chris.
Did Captain Pike just do the Lord's Prayer? A prayer taught to the apostles by Jesus? And because Pike did the prayer, are they acknowledging, one, the Bible's existence in Star Trek, and two, that God exists in Star Trek? That right there happens to be the best scene in the whole episode. And it totally blows my mind that modern day Star Trek storytellers would green light the existence of God in Star Trek. That just makes me so happy. It really does. But even more shocking is the fact that somebody wrote this down. The director saw it, the producer saw it, the cast read the script, and Paramount authorized this scene. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments, so please drop them below and let me know. And until the next time, my friends, God bless.